Today, Israel stepped up its actions in self-defense against these attacks. The Israeli Air Force conducted precise strikes on Houthi military targets in Yemen. The military target was the El Khudaira port, used by the Houthis as a main supply route for the transfer of Iranian weapons from Iran to Yemen, like the UAV itself that was used in the attack on Friday morning.
As the Israel-Hamas conflict continues, calls to secure release of hostages are being made. Thousands of Israelis attended weekly rallies in Tel Aviv and other locations across the country on Saturday evening, urging Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to fly to the U.S. when a hostage deal appears to be at hand. Netanyahu is slated to take off late on Sunday for Washington, where he's scheduled to address a joint session of the United States Congress on Wednesday. The Hostages and Missing Families Forum in Israel has launched a campaign demanding Netanyahu to stay in Israel to continue talks with Hamas for a truce in Gaza and the release of hostages. As per the latest release by the United Nations, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed deep concern over airstrikes earlier today in and around the port of Hudaydah in Yemen. The Secretary General has called on all concerned to avoid attacks that could harm civilians and damage civilian infrastructure. Further, the UN release said that the Secretary General is deeply concerned about the risk of further escalation in the region and has urged all to exercise utmost restraint. U.S. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, alongside his running mate Senator J.D. Vance, took the stage at a rally on Saturday. This was Trump's first public rally since July 13th assassination attempt against him. Addressing the crowd with a flesh-colored bandage covering his right ear, Trump dismissed allegations about his involvement in Project 2025, calling them misinformation.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project. And then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy.
Agreed to here on today, that is Sunday. So all eyes is on that whether the demands of the because whatever is happening for the last 1 week, that is due to the judgment of the Supreme Court. Government was not in favor of such type of a quota system. Government earlier in 2018 already scrapped whatever the options of this quota system was there. But later, Supreme Court reintroduced, or I must say that upheld the previous system of quota system. So that triggered the agitation. This is number one. Number two, today also, so you can see that it is raining here also. It is raining in all over West Bengal and parts of Bangladesh. But within this hostile environment, the students, the Indian students and students from other foreign countries like Maldives, Nepal and Bhutan, they are crossing land borders in different parts of West Bengal and Tripura. Today itself in Kuch Bihar land border of West Bengal, around 200 students entered West Bengal after showing their legal travel documents. There are certain Nepali students, there are certain Bhutan students. So the Indian government has given strict instruction to BSF and Immigration Department to help out to all these students and other family members or any other foreigners who are arriving to Indian border to take care of them with proper and legal travel documents. So this is the situation now. Even now the curfew is imposed in the entire country of Bangladesh, and after the 2 hours of relaxation of yesterday, now it is continuing. And that is, but what I must say, Preeti, all eyes on Supreme Court hearing now.
All right, Prasenjit, I would want you to explain to our viewers how grave and severe is the situation there, the issue there, because the Bangladesh government is ready for talks with the protesters. What is the protesters' take on the whole issue? Let us get more from you as to how grave is this issue in Bangladesh.
Right, Preeti. Let me tell you one thing, that it is true. Let me tell you one thing. The issue is obviously very serious for the students of Bangladesh. But we must say that our eye is on the background of these protesters, because this protest was against the government, while the decision of the quota system that was made by the judiciary. So government was against this for last 50 years. But this is not clear to the common people, that why the protesters aim their gun against the government, because government was willing to talk to the students, government was willing to listen to their objections, and government was willing to adjust the quota system according to the demand of the protesters. So the observers are saying that somehow some political forces, some other forces are behind the protesters, maybe to destabilize the Sheikh Hasina government, or to put the Sheikh Hasina government in trouble. Preeti.
All right, Prasenjit, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those inputs and details. So that was our correspondent Prasenjit Bakshi joining us from Kolkata, telling us more about how people, students have been coming through the border to states of West Bengal and Tripura from Bangladesh, where unrest and protests still continue. We'll keep you updated. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Russia claims downing Ukrainian drones and missiles, while Ukraine asserts repelling Russian offensives. US officials warn of ongoing threats to US critical infrastructure from hackers linked to China.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. In the latest updates on the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia has said that its army destroyed Ukrainian tanks, armed vehicles and cannons on Saturday. The Russian Defense Ministry said the army repelled multiple offensives in the directions of Kharkiv, Avdiivka, Donetsk, Zaporizhia and Kherson, and launched a number of attacks along with the disruption of Ukrainian drones, while Ukraine claimed that it had repulsed Russian offensives on the front line. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces said the Ukrainian soldiers are going all out to stop the Russian assaults and disrupt their action plan. As tensions continue between Taiwan and China, fears are growing that the US could get pulled into a possible conflict against Beijing that could test the country's cyber defense. American officials have warned of ongoing threats to US critical infrastructure from hackers linked to China. DD India's Ira Spitzer reports from San Francisco on this.
Inside computer networks, cybersecurity threats are lurking. For nations, threats to critical infrastructure like transportation and energy are a major security risk.
So if an adversary can identify and map out critical infrastructures, that can be used, again, as part of a targeting campaign and give them an advantage.
The U.S. believes China is doing just that. Government agencies, including the NSA and FBI, have assessed that Chinese state-sponsored hackers are seeking to pre-position themselves on IT networks for disruptive or destructive cyber attacks against U.S. critical infrastructure in the event of a major crisis or conflict with the U.S. China has dismissed those allegations as baseless. U.S. officials have also warned the cyber threat extends beyond the country's borders.
Our concern has always been that this actor will reach out to other places, particularly U.S. allies or places where U.S. troops are stationed.
Earlier this month, Australia accused Chinese-linked hackers of targeting networks within the country. Those accusations were backed by allies including the U.S., the UK, South Korea, and Japan.
While there may be consensus that this is a major threat, combating it is more difficult, given the complications of overhauling computer networks.
We know what needs to be done. The question is, do we have the political will, the social will, and certainly the financial will to implement the necessary countermeasures?
A recent Supreme Court ruling may make things more difficult. It reduced federal agencies' ability to craft regulations on issues like cybersecurity, meaning it may now be up to Congress to advance legislation to shore up U.S. cyber defenses. Ira Spitzer in San Francisco for DD India.
French police used water cannons and tear gas to disperse climate activists in western France. They are opposing the construction of water reservoirs for agricultural use. The 3,000-odd protesters include environmental activists. We get you a detailed report.
Protests continued on Saturday in France as police used tear gas to disperse climate activists gathered in western France. The protesters, who marched in a port in La Rochelle, were met by heavy riot police presence. Protesters are opposing the agro-industry practices and the building of water reservoirs for agricultural use, saying storing groundwater in the open exposes it to evaporation and potential contamination by algae and bacteria.
We are asking to stop agro-industry, everything that goes against living things, everything that destroys living things, and the hoarding of water in wealth.
I am here so that things change, that agriculture changes, and that the way of life is much better respected, that we take living things into account.
Earlier on Friday, several thousands of anti-basin protesters gathered to protest in the Saint-Sauvant area where the project is planned. The basins, located in the Deux-Sèvres department in the west and heavily financed by the French state, are designed to store water in winter in order to irrigate crops during increasingly dry summers. Protesters are saying storing groundwater in the open exposes it to evaporation and potential contaminations by algae and bacteria. First planned in Saint-Sauvant, near a reserve whose construction is due to begin in the coming weeks, the gathering finally relocated to Mignay-Auxonnes, nearly 50 kilometers away from the construction site. Protesters against a similar project in March of 2023 had left scores injured, including several critically, as police repelled protesters trying to reach the Saint-Soline construction site in the same region. Bureau Report, DD India.
The African Union has adopted a strategy to guide the use of artificial intelligence technology to drive the continent's development. Delegates from across Africa are holding discussions in the Ghana capital, Accra, at the 6th Africa Union Mid-Year Coordination Meeting. DD India's correspondent Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports on this.
Delegates from the African Union gathered in Accra believe science, technology, engineering, and maths or STEM education are key to unlocking the potential of young people and securing long-term high-quality growth for their economies. The AU has adopted a landmark continental artificial intelligence strategy that aims to provide a roadmap on how the technology can be used to promote socioeconomic development in Africa. The strategy outlines how the identity, culture, and dignity of people on the continent can be protected through the ethical use of artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, the organization wants to bolster education and skills training for young people in Africa to prepare them for future work. The AU says it is worried about the teacher deficit on the continent, which is estimated at 15 million. The organization is also looking to mobilize resources to invest in teacher training across member countries to ensure the deficit is reduced. In Accra, Ghana, Nabil Ahmed Rufai, reporting for DD India.
And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Fire engulfed an apartment building in Paris's 2nd district, with flames spreading through the building's roof and smoke column rising over the city. Firefighters responded to the incident with several fire engines and could be seen deploying ladders to reach the blaze. Police were also present, though it remained unclear whether there were any casualties or what caused the fire. Malaysia's Coast Guard confirmed that one of their large oil tankers involved in a collision that led to fire had left the location of the accident and was believed to have turned off its tracking system. All 22 crew aboard the Hafnia Nile were evacuated and arrived in Singapore on Friday. Discussions are underway with Malaysian authorities to figure out what led to the fire in the tanker. Turkish Cypriots celebrated the 50th anniversary of Turkey's military intervention in Cyprus, an event they view as a liberation following the brief Greek-inspired coup in 1974. The intervention, known to Turkish Cypriots as the Peace Operation, was aimed at protecting the Turkish Cypriot community and restoring constitutional order after a coup by Greek Cypriots seeking unification with Greece. A short break ahead on DD India News Hour, but after the break, ahead of the budget session that begins on 22nd of July, government to convene an all-party meeting on Sunday. Marking Guru Purnima, devotees take holy dip in the sacred Ganga river, seeking blessings and spiritual purification. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories once again. At least 3 killed and over 87 injured as Israeli airstrikes hit Houthi targets in Yemen, a day after Tel Aviv drone attack. Protests continue in Bangladesh over job quota issue. Government declares Sunday and Monday as public holidays. Nearly 1,000 Indian students return from Bangladesh. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to seek vote of confidence in Parliament on Sunday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 46th session of World Heritage Committee at Bharat Mandapam today. Over 2,000 delegates from over 150 countries to attend the meeting. India's government has called an all-party meeting on Sunday ahead of the budget session of Parliament. During the meeting, the government will call on for cooperation from all the opposition parties for smooth functioning of both the houses of Parliament. The budget session will begin on Monday and will continue till 12th of next month. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the Union Budget 2024-25 in the Lok Sabha on Tuesday. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju will hold the meeting of floor leaders of all the parties in the Parliament. Now, this is the first budget of the third term of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. Addressing the joint session of both the houses of Parliament last month, President Draupadi Murmu had said that the Budget 2024 will be an effective document of the government's far-reaching policies and futuristic vision. DD India's Dibyendu Mondal joins us live for more on this. Dibyendu, good morning. Now, we've told our viewers about the all-party meeting which will be convened by the government today. Let us get more from you. What can be expected, though it is more about the cooperation, seeking cooperation from the opposition parties. Let us get more from you as to what would be the agenda, would be on the agenda.
Well, very good morning, Preeti. It's a customary of the government to call a floor meeting of all the political parties that are represented in the Indian Parliament. So it's a normal, courtesy meeting before a Parliament session begins. So therefore, the agenda perhaps would be how the business of both the houses would be conducted is what will be discussed in this particular meeting, which is being called by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister of India, Mr. Kiran Rijiju. It will represent all the political parties, including the ruling BJP, the principal opposition, the Congress party, as well as all the other, regional parties that are represented in the Indian parliaments. Of course, it's crucial because this meeting will be essential to hold a successful business, a smooth parliament that would be convening from tomorrow for the budget session of 2024-25. So, of course, this meeting is important given the fact that the coordination between all political parties would be discussed. It is also, the government that also tries to ensure that the smooth functioning of the parliament do take place with taking every political party that is represented into confidence, giving them an idea of the businesses that will happen within this particular session of the parliament that will convene tomorrow. So, of course, these are some of the agendas, some of the reason why, the floor meeting by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister is taken up before every Parliament session begins. Primarily, Preeti, I would reiterate that this is primarily to ensure that smooth functioning of, the Parliament do take place when the Parliament convenes tomorrow.
All right, Bindu, with that, I would also request you to get us a quick overlook on what do we expect from the budget session that begins from tomorrow, though the finance minister will be presenting the budget, the union budget on Tuesday. But then when we talk of this session that will run into the next month as well, beginning of the next month as well, let us know more as to what is to be expected in this budget session.
Preeti, tomorrow, in fact, the Parliament session convenes, and the day after tomorrow, Nirmala Sitharaman will be presenting the union budget for the financial year 24-25. And, we had an interim budget before the election happened, and that is what happens during an election year. But the full budget of the government will come in tomorrow, in fact, day after tomorrow when the parliament convenes. So, of course, apart from this, there are certain important legislation which the government would take up in this particular session, which includes the banking Amendments and Reforms Act of 2024. The government will also take up, is planning to take up to get rid of the old 90-year-old Aircraft Act that is in place in India, and bring in a new act for the overhaul of the civil aviation sector in India. So these are some of the crucial bills that could perhaps see being tabled in this particular session of Parliament, apart from some of the other important bills which will come up during discussion of this particular budget session of Parliament. Preeti.
All right, Dibyendu, we leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. So that was our correspondent Dibyendu Mondal telling us more about the all-party meeting that has been convened by the government today. He tells us that it is a customary, courtesy meeting wherein the opposition parties along with the ruling party will be present, and it's more of a customary and a courtesy call by the government to ensure smooth functioning of the budget session of the parliament proceedings in the budget session that begins from tomorrow. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 46th session of the World Heritage Committee at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on Sunday. Prime Minister Modi will address the gathering on the occasion. The meeting will be attended by more than 2,000 delegates from over 150 countries. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, that this event is an important forum to exchange views on the ways to preserve heritage. It's a matter of immense joy that India is hosting the meeting of the World Heritage Committee in New Delhi. This is the first time our nation is hosting this committee. And the 46th UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting, which is to take place in New Delhi from 21st to 31st of July, will witness archaeologists and cultural ministers from across the globe descending to India's capital. This prestigious event will be held at Bharat Mandapam, bringing together delegates from around the world to discuss and deliberate on the preservation of cultural and natural heritage sites. Up next, we get your report by our correspondent Dibyendu Mondal.
The 46th UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting is set to unfold in the heart of India's capital, New Delhi. This committee meeting is a cornerstone event where experts and delegates from around the globe converge to evaluate the state of existing World Heritage sites and consider new nominations. It is a significant gathering uniting nations in their shared commitment to preserving humanity's most treasured cultural and natural heritage. The process is rigorous, involving detailed assessments and reviews to ensure that only sites of outstanding universal value make it to the prestigious list. In this session, the committee will examine the dossiers of 28 sites proposed for inscription on the World Heritage List. The sites will be examined according to category, natural, mixed and cultural.
इस बैठक में जो अब तक साइट्स ऐसी चुनी गई हैं जिनके बारे में मैंने आपसे निवेदन किया, उनके अपकीप मेंटेनेंस रखरखाव के बारे में तो चर्चा होगी, उनका फर्दर इवैल्यूएशन होगा ही। जहां कमी रही है वहां उसे अलर्ट करने की दिशा में भी अलर्ट्स भी इशू किए जाएंगे, लेकिन साथ साथ ही जो नए डोजियर समिट हुए हैं उनकी समीक्षा होकर के नई ऐतिहासिक वैश्विक धरोहरों को जो है सूचीबद्ध करने का काम भी इस बैठक में होने वाला है।
India proudly boasts 40 UNESCO World Heritage sites, each telling a unique story of our rich history and natural splendor. From the majestic Taj Mahal in Agra, the architectural marvel of Hampi in Karnataka, to the serene Sundarbans National Park in West Bengal. These sites are a testament to India's diverse heritage. This time, India has nominated the Moidams, the Mount Burial System of the Ahom dynasty of Assam, to be inscribed into the prestigious list. UNESCO World Heritage Sites represent the pinnacle of cultural and natural heritage. The first World Heritage Sites were designated in 1978, and since then, the list has grown to include over 1,100 sites globally. However, to get to this list is a meticulous process, followed by rigorous evaluation by expert advisory bodies. Each site should demonstrate outstanding universal value, integrity and authenticity. The final decision rests with the World Heritage Committee during its annual meeting. Dibyendu Mondal's report for DD India.
The Indian Embassy, in collaboration with Cambodian authorities, said that they rescued 14 Indian nationals trapped in cyber crime scam on Saturday. Now, these Indian individuals were the victims of alleged high-income job scams but ended in forced criminal activity in Cambodia. The Indian Embassy stressed that it was working for their expeditious return home. Furthermore, it reiterated its efforts of rescuing Indian nationals from fraudulent job offers in Cambodia that lured them into cybercrime operations. The embassy has now facilitated the safe return of over 650 Indian citizens targeted by such scams. Meanwhile, they also urged Indian citizens in Cambodia to report any suspicious concerns into the matter to the embassy. The Directorate General of Health Services, Dr. Atul Goel, along with officials from central and state surveillance units, reviewed the Chandipura virus and also acute encephalitis syndrome cases in Gujarat, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. The experts concluded that Chandipura virus is known to cause sporadic cases and outbreaks mostly in children under 15 years of age, especially during the monsoon season. It is transmitted by vectors such as sand flies and ticks. Vector control, hygiene and awareness are the only measures against the disease. 9 positive cases have been confirmed for Chandipura virus. All the cases and 5 associated deaths are from Gujarat. While infectious agents contribute to only a small proportion of acute encephalitis syndrome cases, the known viral causes include Japanese encephalitis, dengue and herpes simplex virus. A total of 78 cases have been reported as of now. Of these, 28 cases have resulted in deaths. Kerala government has confirmed Nipah infection in a 14-year-old boy from Malappuram district. Kerala Health Minister Veena George said Pune's National Institute of Virology had confirmed the infection in the boy, who is currently under treatment at a private hospital. The parents or relatives of the boy did not have any symptoms. As many as 60 contacts of the infected child have been categorized as high risk, while a total of 214 persons have been kept under observation. The area within 3 kilometers radius of the epicenter of the infection has been declared as containment zone. Parts of the national capital region experienced heavy rains early on Sunday morning. The Met Department has forecast light to moderate rainfall with thunderstorms in various parts of Delhi. Also, Delhi's maximum temperature was recorded at 37.8 degrees Celsius, which is above the seasonal average. The air quality index in Delhi remains in the moderate category. Also, heavy rains continue to batter Mumbai. The fury of rain has brought the city to a standstill, disrupting public transport services and causing inconvenience to countless commuters. The incessant rain has led to waterlogging on roads and railway tracks, causing delays in suburban train services. Mumbai and Palghar are under a yellow alert, while Thane district faces a more severe orange alert. 3 people were killed in a landslide near Cheer Basa village in Kedarnath in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand on Sunday. 2 people were seriously injured after mud and heavy stones fell from the hill on the Kedarnath Yatra Marg. All the deceased are said to be pilgrims, while one of the seriously injured is a local. Security personnel, including the NDRF and SDRF teams, were deployed and they carried out rescue operations. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi held a high-level security meeting in Jammu on Saturday. The meeting focused on reviewing and addressing the rising terrorist activities in the region. The Army Chief met the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir and deliberated on the prevailing security dynamics in the region. In a heartfelt tribute to the heroes of the Kargil War, National Cadet Corps in Jammu and Kashmir organized a poster-making competition. The event took place at the local NCC headquarters, where cadets from various schools and colleges participated to honor bravery and sacrifice of the Indian soldiers who fought in the 1999 conflict. The competition saw enthusiastic participation, with cadets creating vivid and poignant posters depicting scenes of valor, patriotism and remembrance. In a remarkable rescue operation, 194 people stranded in the middle of Saryu River were safely evacuated and were safely rescued. The incident occurred when a sudden surge in the river's water level, likely due to heavy rainfall upstream, caught several boats and their occupants off guard, leaving them stranded on small sandbanks and islands. Rescue teams equipped with motorized boats, life jackets and ropes navigated the turbulent waters to reach the stranded groups. On the occasion of Adi Purnima, a significant number of devotees flocked to Tiruchendur Subramanya Swami Temple in Tamil Nadu to offer their prayers and seek blessings. Adi Purnami is dedicated to the worship of Lord Murugan, also known as Subramanya, who is revered as the god of war and victory. The temple precincts were bustling with activity as devotees arrived in large numbers, some having travelled great distances to be part of the sacred celebrations. And devotees thronged Indian temples to offer prayers on the auspicious day of Guru Purnima. The devotees were also seen taking a holy dip in the sacred Ganga river, seeking blessings and spiritual purification. Guru Purnima, celebrated on the full moon day, is a significant festival in Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. Following the Hindu calendar, Guru Purnima falls during the month of Ashadha, or around July to August. The festival marks an occasion to express appreciation towards spiritual teachers, mentors and guides. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to social media platform X to wish the countrymen on the occasion. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, thousands of devotees and visitors flocked to Sri Lanka for the annual Kata Argama Esla Festival. And India faces the UAE in Group A clash of Women's T20 Asia Cup on Sunday.
As the world gears up for the biggest sporting extravaganza, Olympics 2024, we at DD India are all set to bring you reports, reactions, and all the latest action from Ground Zero. Watch DD India's super exclusive show, Cheer for Bharat. Only on DD India from July the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT. Get ready to cheer for Indian athletes at the Paris Olympics 2024.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. And earlier in the bulletin, we told you about the current situation in Bangladesh with regard to the protests. We'll get you more on that. And in news just coming in, close to 572 students have arrived from Bangladesh given the situation there. And we also had inputs coming in from our correspondent Prasanjit Bakshi in Kolkata, wherein he gave us an update on the current situation in Bangladesh and how students and people from Bangladesh are coming to the border states of India in West Bengal and Tripura. And also in the latest news coming in, 572 students have arrived in India from Bangladesh. We'll keep you updated. Yes, getting you more details on this. India's border security forces helped in the safe evacuation of Indian students amid student protests in Bangladesh. In view of the ongoing student protests there, with increasing violence and arson, the government has completely shut down the internet to control the situation. And amid this unrest, many Indian, Nepalese and Bhutanese students studying in various educational institutions in Bangladesh are being sent back to their respective countries. The Border Security Force South Bengal Frontier has set up special help desks to facilitate the safe return of these students. So far, the BSF has successfully assisted in the return of 572 Indian students, 133 Nepalese students and 4 Bhutanese students. So this was the latest on the current situation in Bangladesh and also how students are coming to the Indian border states of West Bengal and Tripura. Sunday and Monday in Bangladesh have been declared as public holidays, and the government there, led by Sheikh Hasina, is open to the talks to the protesting students in Bangladesh. These are the visuals of the students who have arrived with the help of BSF, who have been evacuated with the help of BSF from Bangladesh. Earlier also, we did get you inputs from our correspondent Prasanjit Bakshi, who told us more about how previously also students have been arriving in Tripura and West Bengal owing to the protests and unrest in Bangladesh. All right, let's turn focus to Sri Lanka now. The annual Kata Argama Esala festival is being celebrated in Sri Lanka. The festival, also known as the Kata Argama Perahera, is a significant religious and cultural event. It attracts thousands of devotees and visitors from all over Sri Lanka and beyond. We have a report on this.
Having completed an arduous journey spanning over 500 kilometers, devotees have reached Kataragama for the annual Esala festival at the holy town in the southern part of Sri Lanka. The Padayatra, which started in Jaffna about 2 months ago, has taken the devotees through towns and cities and forests. The Esala festival, which started on 6th of July, will go on till Sunday and involves peraheras or a procession in the temple complex. The daily perahera is a major attraction which involves dances and performances and a majestic tusker which carries the holy symbols of Lord Murugan. Kataragama's main temple of the Mahadevala is dedicated to the Hindu god of war, Skanda, or Lord Murugan, while the complex also has Kirivehera Buddhist temple as well as the Qidr shrine.
unites people of Hindu, Buddhist and Islamic faith and has deep roots with Indian culture as well. For DD India, Ahmed Moin Faruqi from Kataragama.
Will take on the UAE in a Group A clash of Women's T20 Asia Cup in Dambulla on Sunday with an eye on semi-final berth. A win can push Indian team firmly towards the semi-final spot. Defending champions India's supremacy was evident in their easy 7-wicket victory over arch-rivals Pakistan on Saturday, while Nepal defeated more fancied UAE by 6 wickets in the tournament opener. UAE will require a miracle to stop Harmanpreet Kaur's side. The 8 participating teams in the tournament have been divided in 2 groups. The top 2 from each will move to the semis. The summit clash will take place in Dambulla on July 28th. Former world number 1 Rafael Nadal reached the final of Swedish Open on Saturday after he battled past Due Atkovic in a 3-set thriller. Nadal overcame his opponent 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 in a hard-fought encounter. The 22 times Grand Slam champion advanced to the first final since winning the French Open in 2022. Nadal faced another tough challenge from his opponent after his quarterfinal match. He won the Bastad tournament as a teenager in 2005 and he will compete for his 93rd singles title on Sunday. Nadal is using the tournament to prepare for the Paris Olympics. Still with tennis, top seed Alexander Zverev stormed past Pedro Martinez 6-2, 6-4 to reach the final of Hamburg European Open. Zverev broke the Spaniard's serve 3 times while putting in a dominant serving display of his own. Standing between Zverev and back-to-back titles in Hamburg is a 20-year-old Arthur Fils, who breezed past Argentine third seed Sebastian Baez for 6-2 and 6-2. It is Zverev's 3rd final of the season, all of which have come on clay. From tennis to football now, Spanish national Manolo Marquez has been appointed as the head coach of the Indian men's football team after Igor Stimac was removed. The All India Football Federation announced the appointment after its executive committee meeting on Saturday. The 55-year-old is currently the head of the coach of Indian Super League side Football Club Goa. Marquez has been coaching in India since 2020. He has extensive knowledge and experience of Indian football and coaching national players. Marquez has coached 2 Indian Super League clubs. He led Hyderabad Football Club to victory in 2021-22 season. The Olympic torch relay paid a visit to Saint-Émilion department on the outskirts of Paris on Saturday. Torch bearers included 110 meters hurdles gold medalist at the 1976 Montreal Games, Guy Brut, and also Tokyo 2020 para rowing bronze medalist, with the relay stopping off at the National Gendarmerie Officers Academy in Melun and the medieval town of Provence, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, before finishing in Meaux. The relay continues on Sunday in the Val di Marne department and will culminate with the lighting of cauldron in the host city Paris during the opening ceremonies of the Games. That's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR codes on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us at In Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.